well, now you know so much more before you ever started putting pen to paper. I'm like, now I know who these people are. Now I am these people. The hope is that the characters just take it from me. And then from that point on, they're writing the story.
From Dusk Till Dawn isn't just a movie. It's a cult phenomenon. A wild ride blending crime, horror, and dark humor. Quentin Tarantino, who wrote the script and played a key role on screen, has finally opened up about secrets fans never knew.
And I tried to play that as realistically as possible, but one of the things that was so funny is like you would see how crazy I am. That's how it was always supposed to be.
Did you ever think of like doing more of that?
I'm kind of glad it didn't work out that way, all right? But that was the one that I really had a good time.
From on-set pranks to creative choices, deleted scenes, and surprising behind-the-scenes stories, Tarantino's revelations give us a new look at how the film came together. Here's the untold story of the chaos, creativity, and fun that shaped this classic. Tarantino's role and on-set secrets. Quentin Tarantino's involvement in From Dusk Till Dawn was anything but ordinary. Not only did he craft the screenplay, but he also stepped in front of the camera as Richie Gecko, one half of the infamous Gecko brothers. This dual role made him both a creator and participant, giving him a unique perspective on the chaos and creativity that defined the production. Behind the scenes, Tarantino's energy and eccentricities became part of the set's character, shaping how the cast, crew, and even Robert Rodriguez approached the film. Tarantino has often described his on-set experience as exhilarating and unpredictable. From the very first day of shooting, he brought a mixture of humor, intensity, and improvisational flair. He would sometimes rewrite dialogue on the spot, or encourage actors to add their own spin, making each scene feel fresh and unscripted. For example, during the diner sequences early in the film, many lines were altered based on what felt natural in the moment. George Clooney, who played Seth Gecko, has mentioned that working alongside Tarantino meant constantly staying on your toes. He might ad-lib, change blocking, or throw in a sudden joke that could derail a scene if you weren't ready. This dynamic created a sense of spontaneity that translated into the final cut, giving the film a raw, lively energy. Pranks and playful chaos were also part of the set culture. Tarantino has shared stories of harmless tricks he and Rodriguez would play on each other, from moving props unexpectedly to startling actors during rehearsal breaks. Even seasoned performers like Harvey Keitel and Juliette Lewis weren't immune. These moments lightened the mood during intense shooting days, especially considering the film's dark, violent, and often grotesque content. The balance of tension and humor on set mirrored the film's own tone, suspenseful yet irreverent. Tarantino's unique position as both writer and actor also gave him influence over creative decisions that might have otherwise been handled solely by the director. He was deeply involved in scene composition, character motivations, and the pacing of key sequences. During the infamous Titty Twister nightclub scenes, for instance, he worked closely with Rodriguez to ensure the vampire transformation sequences blended horror, comedy, and action in a way that felt true to his vision. These sequences required precise timing, practical effects, and careful choreography, elements Tarantino weighed in on actively. Another aspect fans might not realize is Tarantino's approach to tension and timing. He often encouraged the actors to play their roles almost casually, which paradoxically heightened the suspense. Clooney has mentioned that in certain moments, Tarantino would whisper directions or make subtle adjustments, creating an unpredictable energy that kept the performances alive. This combination of careful planning and improvisational freedom is part of what makes From Dusk Till Dawn feel so kinetic and unpredictable. Even decades later, Tarantino's influence extended to the casting process as well. While Rodriguez ultimately made the final calls, Tarantino offered input on chemistry between actors, delivery of dialogue, and how characters interacted in high-stakes moments. This hands-on involvement helped define the dynamic between the geckos and other characters, especially in scenes blending humor with tension. Many actors later remarked that Tarantino's presence created both excitement and challenge, pushing them to bring their best performances while navigating his unpredictable style. Even minor behind-the-scenes anecdotes show how involved Tarantino was. He would often sit with the effects team, discussing how gore, lighting, and practical elements could enhance a scene without overshadowing the story. He was attentive to props, wardrobe, and even small gestures, believing every detail contributed to the film's energy. These tiny choices added depth to moments that might seem simple on screen but were carefully considered on set. Perhaps one of the most memorable stories involves Tarantino's insistence on capturing genuine reactions. During vampire attacks, he encouraged actors to fully respond to the practical effects and staged chaos, rather than rely solely on camera tricks. This resulted in scenes that feel raw and immersive, giving the audience a sense of real danger, even in a clearly fantastical setting. The approach demonstrates Tarantino's hands-on philosophy. The script is a foundation, but the lived experience of filming can elevate it to something memorable. Behind the camera, he was also a motivator. Days on set could be grueling, with long hours, complex stunts, and special effects challenges. Tarantino kept morale high with jokes, commentary, and an infectious enthusiasm that reminded everyone why they were there, to make something unforgettable. His storytelling instincts guided not only the narrative, but the way people approached each scene, blending fun with focus. Tarantino's role on From Dusk Till Dawn was much more than writing or acting. He was a catalyst, an energy source, and a creative partner who influenced nearly every aspect of the production. From improvised dialogue to on-set pranks, from meticulous input on character dynamics to fostering an environment that balanced tension with humor. His fingerprints are all over the film. These behind-the-scenes revelations show that what viewers see on screen, the suspense, the humor, and the chaos, is a reflection of the controlled madness that happened during filming. Fans finally learning these stories get a glimpse into how Tarantino helped shape one of the most unique cult films of the 90s. Ever wonder how a script transforms from page to screen, turning chaos into cult classic magic? How did a simple crime script turn into a unforgettable vampire thriller? Writing, revisions, and creative choices. One of the most fascinating aspects of From Dusk Till Dawn is how the story evolved from page to screen. Quentin Tarantino's original script was a tightly written crime thriller, featuring the Gecko brothers on the run. But the horror elements, particularly the sudden transformation of the titty twister into a vampire lair, were refined during the pre-production process. Tarantino has revealed that this blend of crime and supernatural horror wasn't fully set in stone. At first, it was Robert Rodriguez's vision as director, combined with collaborative discussions with Tarantino, that shaped the film's unique tone, a seamless mix of dark comedy, suspense, and horror chaos. Tarantino's script underwent several revisions to balance pacing, dialogue, and character development. While he is known for sharp, witty dialogue, he was open to adjustments based on what would work visually and dramatically. Lines that worked perfectly on paper occasionally fell flat during table reads or camera rehearsals. To address this, Tarantino would improvise with actors, sometimes altering entire conversations on set. These adjustments were not random. They were carefully considered to ensure that each line enhanced character dynamics and kept the audience engaged. The result is dialogue that feels natural and punchy, even in the middle of over-the-top action sequences. Deleted scenes and alternate storylines also played a role in shaping the final film. For instance, early drafts included extended backstories for the Gecko brothers, showing more of their criminal exploits prior to the diner robbery. While these sequences offered depth, they were eventually cut to maintain the film's tight, fast-paced rhythm. Tarantino has mentioned that trimming certain character arcs was painful but necessary. He recognized that sometimes less is more, especially in a story where horror, suspense, and humor must compete for audience attention. Another creative challenge involved the sudden tonal shift when the vampires appear. In the original drafts, the transition was more gradual, but Rodriguez and Tarantino decided to make it sudden and shocking. The moment the bar transforms, the film pivots from a crime thriller to full-blown horror almost instantly. This decision wasn't made lightly. It required careful choreography, coordination with the special effects team, and precise timing in the script. Tarantino has shared that he spent hours revising dialogue, action cues, and character reactions to ensure the shock factor landed without feeling jarring. The humor in the film also required careful crafting. Tarantino wanted the comedy to feel organic, even in violent or horrifying moments. Jokes, quips, and absurd lines were inserted strategically to release tension or highlight the characters' personalities. For example, brief exchanges between the geckos or the hostages provide levity just before horror erupts, creating a roller coaster of emotions for viewers. These choices illustrate Tarantino's understanding of pacing, not just in dialogue, but in the overall flow of the story. Even minor script details were deliberated extensively. Tarantino has recounted how specific props, gestures, and lines were considered for their symbolic impact. From the placement of weapons to subtle character reactions, he ensured every element reinforced the narrative. This attention to detail demonstrates that even in a film known for chaos and gore, there was a methodical creative process guiding every choice. Collaborating with Rodriguez also influenced revisions. The two shared a mutual respect, allowing for a fluid exchange of ideas. While Tarantino focused on dialogue and character authenticity, Rodriguez brought a visual sensibility and understanding of cinematic rhythm. Together, they decided which scenes needed heightened tension, which could embrace dark comedy, and how to make the sudden vampire invasion both shocking and entertaining. The iterative process involved back-and-forth discussions, table reads, and storyboarding adjustments. The result of these revisions and creative decisions is a film that feels unpredictable yet cohesive. Every scene, line, and beat was shaped by a combination of careful planning and flexible improvisation. Tarantino's insights reveal that the movie's legendary tone, a blend of crime drama, horror, and humor, wasn't accidental. It was the product of thoughtful scripting, real-time adjustments, and collaborative creativity. Fans now learning these behind-the-scenes details gain a deeper appreciation for how meticulous work, combined with on-set improvisation, produced one of the most extraordinary cult films of the 90s. Tarantino's reflections on the creative process highlight an important lesson. A script is a foundation, not a blueprint. Even with an already strong story, changes during filming, collaborative feedback, and real-world problem-solving shape the final product. For From Dusk Till Dawn, these revisions turned a solid crime thriller into a genre-defying classic that continues to captivate audiences decades later. Now, who really brought the geckos and vampires to life? And how did casting shape the chaos? Casting insights and character secrets. Casting From Dusk Till Dawn was a process full of surprises, negotiations, and a fair amount of creative maneuvering. Quentin Tarantino has shared that he was deeply involved in selecting actors, especially because he was portraying Richie Gecko himself. He wanted chemistry among the cast to feel genuine, whether intense confrontations or darkly comedic moments. Tarantino's goal was for the actors to inhabit their characters naturally, even in scenes that demanded over-the-top reactions to vampires or chaos. In the Titty Twister nightclub, George Clooney, who played Seth Gecko, was a rising star at the time, known mostly for his television work. Tarantino has mentioned that part of the casting challenge was ensuring Clooney could match the manic energy of his character and complement Tarantino's own performance. The dynamic between the two brothers had to feel believable, balancing danger with charisma. On set, Tarantino encouraged them to improvise dialogue occasionally, which added authenticity to their banter and made their relationship feel lived in, rather than strictly scripted. The role of Santanico Pandemonium, played by Salma Hayek, also came with interesting casting considerations. Initially, the producers had different ideas for her character, but Tarantino and Rodriguez recognized the importance of a strong, captivating presence for the nightclub's central figure. Hayek brought elegance and sensuality to the role while maintaining the underlying menace of a vampire queen. Tarantino has recounted how her movements, expressions, and even small gestures were discussed in detail, ensuring that every frame conveyed her power and allure. Harvey Keitel, who portrayed Jacob Fuller, brought a grounded, human presence to the film. Tarantino has noted that Keitel's casting was essential to balance the chaotic energy of the geckos and the supernatural elements. Keitel's experience allowed him to play the everyman who reacts with believable fear and determination. Tarantino encouraged Keitel to explore subtle reactions, moments of hesitation, disbelief, or resolve, that added depth to scenes crowded with vampires and action. Tarantino also enjoyed collaborating with character actors and supporting cast members. For example, Tom Savini, a renowned special effects artist, played Sex Machine on the bar floor, and his physicality was a deliberate choice. Tarantino's involvement ensured that even minor characters contributed to the overall rhythm and tone. He reportedly suggested small character quirks or improvised lines that later made it into the film, enhancing both humor and suspense. One of the lesser-known secrets involves the process of auditioning and negotiating with actors. Tarantino has said that some actors were hesitant to take roles because the film blended genres in ways they hadn't encountered before. Playing a criminal one moment and facing supernatural horror. The next required a willingness to embrace absurdity while staying grounded. Tarantino's enthusiasm and ability to communicate his vision convinced many hesitant actors to join, creating a cast willing to dive fully into the story's extremes. Another aspect of casting was ensuring the vampire scenes had credibility. Actors were trained to react convincingly to practical effects like prosthetics, fake blood, and wire stunts. Tarantino worked closely with Rodriguez and the actors to choreograph these moments so they felt real without endangering anyone. His guidance on timing, facial expressions, and gestures ensured that the horror elements blended seamlessly with dialogue and character interactions. Tarantino has also revealed anecdotes about on-set improvisation during key moments. For instance, Richie's interactions with hostages often included unscripted reactions, adding unpredictability and tension. These spontaneous moments elevated the performances, making characters feel more authentic in situations that could have easily been cartoonish. Fans watching today see perfectly timed chaos on screen, but behind the scenes, it was a carefully orchestrated combination of planning and creative freedom. Ultimately, the casting decisions and character secrets highlight Tarantino's deep involvement beyond writing and acting. He shaped relationships between characters, influenced performances, and ensured that even the smallest details contributed to the film's impact. From main roles to supporting players, every actor's presence was carefully considered to balance crime, horror, and dark humor. These behind-the-scenes insights reveal that the film's enduring appeal isn't just about plot or gore. It's about the thoughtful orchestration of talent, energy, and character that makes From Dusk Till Dawn a truly unforgettable cinematic experience. Special effects, action, and horror innovations. One of the most striking aspects of From Dusk Till Dawn is how seamlessly it transitions from crime thriller to horror spectacle. And much of that credit goes to the practical effects, action choreography, and innovative approaches on set. Quentin Tarantino has shared that blending these elements was a deliberate choice. While he didn't direct, his creative input influenced how horror, action, and gore were staged, ensuring the film maintained a unique rhythm and energy. Every vampire attack, jump scare, and bar fight was designed to feel both shocking and darkly entertaining. The Titty Twister nightclub, the film's central setting for the horror sequences, presented the greatest challenge. Rodriguez and his team had to coordinate stunts, practical effects, lighting, and choreography in a single space packed with actors and props. Tarantino's involvement ensured that even the chaos felt purposeful. He frequently consulted on timing and character reactions, making certain that actors responded realistically to vampires lunging, bodies flying, and walls being destroyed. The goal was to create tension and surprise without losing narrative clarity. Practical effects played a crucial role. Unlike today's heavy reliance on CGI, most of the vampire transformations and gore were achieved with prosthetics, makeup, fake blood, and wire work. Tarantino has recounted how he watched closely as the special effects team tested each mechanism. From breaking heads on table props to elaborate vampire jaws, every effect had to hit at the right moment to land a believable shock. He admired how the team managed to maintain realism, even in wildly over-the-top moments, which contributed to the film's lasting cult appeal. Action sequences were another area where careful planning met improvisation. The fights between the geckos and both human and supernatural opponents required precise choreography, balancing danger with visual flair. Tarantino encouraged actors to react authentically, sometimes stepping in to suggest subtle gestures or timing tweaks. These choices allowed chaos to feel spontaneous rather than staged, enhancing suspense and engagement for viewers. Lighting and camera work were also integral to the horror experience. The nightclub's red and blue lighting, combined with sudden shadows, created a disorienting effect that heightened tension. Tarantino has mentioned discussing camera angles and shot composition with Rodriguez to ensure that key moments, like a vampire jumping from the ceiling, maximized shock without confusing the audience. The collaboration between writer, director, and cinematographer helped maintain a fluid visual style that balanced horror, comedy, and action. Another innovative approach was the sound design. Blood splatters, growls, and screams were carefully timed with editing to create impact. Tarantino noted that sound often made or broke a scene. He would sit in on editing sessions, suggesting cuts or emphasizing moments where timing could enhance fear or humor. This meticulous attention to sensory details ensured that even viewers unfamiliar with the film's narrative could feel its intensity and rhythm. Interestingly, the blend of horror and comedy required a delicate hand. Tarantino's advice to actors and crew often revolved around timing and tone. He encouraged moments of dark humor amidst violence, such as witty lines from the geckos during life-or-death situations, so audiences could experience relief before being thrown back into suspense. This balance of scares and laughs is part of why the film remains unpredictable and engaging decades later. Behind-the-scenes anecdotes also reveal Tarantino's appreciation for practical problem-solving. Stunts didn't always go smoothly. Props broke, wires snapped, and effects occasionally misfired. Tarantino would often watch as Rodriguez and the crew quickly improvised solutions to keep the shoot on schedule. These stories highlight the collaborative energy that defined the production, a mix of careful preparation, ingenuity, and willingness to embrace unexpected moments. Ultimately, the film's action, special effects, and horror innovations are inseparable from Tarantino's vision. While Rodriguez orchestrated much of the technical execution, Tarantino's insights on timing, character reactions, and tonal balance ensured that every moment, whether thrilling, shocking, or darkly funny, worked within the story. Fans now have a deeper understanding of the labor, creativity, and collaboration that went into making the movie's iconic vampire sequences. It's not just the vampires or gore that made From Dusk Till Dawn memorable. It's the carefully crafted chaos that feels alive on screen, the product of countless decisions, improvisations, and innovations behind the scenes, its impact and success. From Dusk Till Dawn arrived in 1996 as a genre-bending gamble, and audiences weren't quite sure what to expect. The film starts as a crime thriller, tracking the Gecko brothers on the run after a violent bank robbery, only to pivot into full-on vampire horror halfway through. This sudden tonal shift was unusual, and it could have backfired, but surprisingly, it didn't. Instead, it became one of the film's most defining features. Viewers were captivated by the unexpected switch, and critics took notice of its daring combination of crime, horror, and dark humor. The initial response was a mix of curiosity, shock, and praise for the film's audacity. Fans quickly gravitated toward the over-the-top action sequences, inventive practical effects, and memorable performances. George Clooney's smooth, charming portrayal of Seth Gecko contrasted perfectly with Tarantino's manic Richie, creating a dynamic duo that audiences remembered long after leaving the theater. Meanwhile, Salma Hayek's Santanico Pandemonium became instantly iconic, with her performance cementing the nightclub scenes as unforgettable. Word of mouth played a significant role in the film's growing popularity. Many viewers were drawn to the movie because of its wild premise and unpredictable narrative. It became a topic of discussion among friends and in early online forums, where fans debated the sudden shift from crime thriller to vampire spectacle. This buzz helped solidify the movie's cult status, as audiences were intrigued by something different from the typical Hollywood formula. People appreciated the risk-taking, which paid off in memorable characters, shocking moments, and quotable dialogue. Critically, the film received mixed reviews at first, with some commentators unsure how to classify it. Horror fans were surprised by the initial crime thriller setup, while crime movie enthusiasts were caught off guard by the vampire twist. Yet, over time, retrospectives have celebrated the film's creativity, its genre-bending approach, and the collaboration between Tarantino and Rodriguez. It became a case study in taking risks and trusting a strong creative vision, even if it defied conventional expectations. Home video releases and later DVD sales expanded the audience further. People who missed it in theaters discovered the movie's unique blend of humor, violence, and horror. Special features often highlighted behind-the-scenes stories, giving viewers insight into Tarantino's dual role as writer and actor and Rodriguez's direction. These extras deepened fans' appreciation, allowing them to see how meticulous planning, improvisation, and creative energy resulted in such a memorable film. Another factor in the movie's lasting appeal is its quotable dialogue and unforgettable scenes. Lines delivered by the geckos, the climactic battles against vampires, and the dramatic transformations in the Titty Twister nightclub all became reference points in pop culture. The film inspired fan art, Halloween costumes, and even role-play in online communities. Its shock value combined with humor ensured it remained entertaining even decades later. Financially, the film performed modestly at the box office but excelled in long-term popularity. Its cult following grew steadily through cable television broadcasts, rentals, and streaming platforms. Audiences appreciated the energy and unpredictability, and the combination of crime, horror, and comedy proved a winning formula for lasting cultural relevance. From Dusk Till Dawn succeeded not because it fit neatly into one genre, but because it embraced unpredictability, risk-taking, and memorable performances. Tarantino's writing, his on-set improvisations, and Rodriguez's direction all contributed to a film that shocked, thrilled, and entertained viewers. Fans continue to revisit it, discuss favorite scenes, and share the story of a movie that dared to defy expectations. Its impact on pop culture, its unique storytelling, and the sheer audacity of its narrative continue to resonate, ensuring its status as a beloved cult classic for decades to come. Thanks to Tarantino, this movie came to life. But how did a kid obsessed with movies become one of Hollywood's most daring storytellers? The life of a creative, beautiful mind. Quentin Tarantino's journey to becoming one of cinema's most recognizable and influential figures is a story of passion, persistence, and a deep love for storytelling. Born in 1963 in Knoxville, Tennessee, Tarantino's early life was far from Hollywood. He grew up in a working-class family and developed a fascination with movies from a young age, spending countless hours watching films of every genre, from spaghetti westerns to grindhouse thrillers. He absorbed dialogue, narrative structures, and cinematic techniques, often replaying scenes over and over to study how filmmakers created tension, humor, or drama. By his teenage years, Tarantino was working in video rental stores, where he not only watched films but also shared his insights with customers. These early experiences sharpened his knowledge of genre conventions and helped him develop a keen sense of what made storytelling compelling. It was during this time that he started writing scripts, experimenting with characters, dialogue, and unconventional narrative structures. This period of immersion laid the foundation for his signature style: sharp, witty dialogue, non-linear storytelling, and an eye for blending humor with tension. Tarantino's breakthrough came with Reservoir Dogs in 1992, a low-budget crime thriller that immediately established him as a bold new voice in filmmaking. The film's tight script, memorable characters, and innovative use of dialogue caught critics' attention, paving the way for Pulp Fiction, which cemented his place in cinematic history. From there, Tarantino continued to create iconic films such as Jackie Brown, Kill Bill, Inglourious Basterds, and Django Unchained. Each project reflected his distinctive style while exploring different genres, from revenge-driven samurai action to historical revisionist epics. His work on From Dusk Till Dawn stands out as a rare collaboration where he acted, wrote, and shaped the narrative without directing. This project exemplified his willingness to experiment with genre and tone, blending crime, horror, and dark comedy in a way few filmmakers would attempt. Tarantino's dual role allowed him to influence casting, dialogue, and the pacing of key sequences, showing his versatility and hands-on approach. Beyond filmmaking, Tarantino has had a lasting impact on the culture of cinema. He has mentored younger directors, championed independent films, and influenced countless creators with his approach to dialogue, structure, and genre blending. His films often reference classic movies while introducing fresh twists, paying homage to the past while innovating for the present. Audiences and critics alike recognize his ability to turn violent, sometimes absurd scenarios into compelling narratives that resonate emotionally and aesthetically. Tarantino is also known for his meticulous attention to detail. He carefully curates soundtracks, props, and costumes, often spending months researching every element to ensure authenticity or stylistic flair. Even small details, like the way a character holds a gun or a line of dialogue delivered in a particular tone, are considered intentionally. This precision contributes to the immersive worlds he creates on screen. Outside of movies, Tarantino is an avid cinephile and historian. He often discusses classic films, obscure directors, and forgotten genres, sharing his knowledge in interviews, lectures, and panels. His passion for storytelling extends beyond his own work, influencing how audiences and aspiring filmmakers approach cinema. Whether it's the dialogue-driven tension of a heist, the hyper-stylized violence of a samurai duel, or the unexpected genre shifts of From Dusk Till Dawn, Tarantino's fingerprints are evident. Ultimately, Tarantino's life and projects demonstrate a relentless pursuit of creativity and a fearless approach to storytelling. His ability to blend genres, develop unforgettable characters, and create immersive, dialogue-rich worlds has left a lasting mark on modern cinema. From his early days in video stores to his influential career in Hollywood, Tarantino continues to inspire audiences and filmmakers alike, proving that passion, originality, and attention to detail can turn even unconventional ideas into cinematic legends. From casting choices and improvised dialogue to script revisions, special effects, and creative decisions, Tarantino's reflections give fans a rare glimpse into how the film was crafted. Understanding his process not only deepens appreciation for the movie, but also highlights why it became such a bold, unforgettable, and enduring cult classic. Thanks for diving into the wild and secretive world of From Dusk Till Dawn. Hit subscribe to catch more behind-the-scenes secrets and movie stories.